Hello, this is Bishop Garland Hunt, and this is the Power of Hope devotional. Welcome back. Many of you are faithful listeners, and I do appreciate that. Of course, we are located here. My church home is in Atlanta area, Peachtree Corners. And if you're in the Atlanta area, come visit us. We have 10:30 services. You can look us at the Father's House, ATL.org. And you can look up our church, the Father's House. And we're in Peachtree Corners area. And for those that are in the area, we're right here on Spalding, 6060 Spalding, Peachtree Corners, Georgia. So anyway, I would love to see you in person. If you're ever in Atlanta, please come down and spend some time with us. So let me ask you this question. Well, let me give you a challenge. And I use this for a message on this past Sunday. I know it may take a couple weeks for you to hear this, but the focus is: are you ready to take up your arms and fight? Are you ready to take up your arms and fight? And what I mean by that is that, you know, at the time of this broadcast, I mean, I'm watching what's going on in Ukraine. And of course, Russia is invading, Ukraine. By the time you see this, I don't know what may have happened. But what I did appreciate was the resistance, the Ukraine soldiers and the government said, we're going to go down fighting. Take up your arms and fight. So literally, the Ukrainian government, which was led by, let's see his name, Zelensky, President Zelensky. So listen, defend your homes, defend your family, your city, the capital. So I need you to stand up, men, and fight. So basically what he did was he said all men between 18 and 60, all men between 18 and 60 have to fight in his army. Come alongside. We will give you weapons. We give you weapons. Matter of fact, the Ukrainian Interior Minister gave a video message that said that volunteers, a little bit more than volunteers by then, that they were given more than 25,000 automatic rifles and about 10 million bullets and rocket-propelled grenades and launchers. So these are people, though, that were not trained in military, but these are citizens, men that were called to action to defend their ground, So as a result of this, he said, I want you to come and I want you to fight. And the government issued, of course, these guns to fight, but to protect their freedom, that were going to protect their freedom. And so as a result of this, the invasion took place, of course. And it was one kid, 19 years old. And I don't know, I guess they interviewed him. And he was 19 years old. And so he made a comment. He said, what is there to be afraid of? Now, you would think about this. I don't know about you. My thought would be, if our country was being invaded upon the United States, and they asked all of us to fight, I'm thinking, man, wow, you got to think about that because you're going to be outnumbered. You know, the artillery, the technology, and everything that the invading army, in this case Russia, was way more advanced than Ukraine. But so the chances are that many lives would be lost. But is fighting for your country and fighting for your freedom important enough that you're willing to risk your life for it? And so they said goodbye to their families. The families had to go. Some fathers were kissing their babies goodbye. They were kissing their wives goodbye. And while they were trying to get over into Poland for safety, the 18 to 60-year-old men were staying back to fight. They're staying back to fight. So they interviewed this 19-year-old kid, and this is what he said. He said, what is there to be afraid of? Now, this is a 19-year-old young kid who was waiting to be enlisted. And so he said, when I'm sitting around, I'm scared. If I'm sitting around at home, if I'm sitting around looking back, I'm scared. He said, and here there's nothing to fear. In other words, when I'm here with the army, when I'm here in the middle of everything, what is there to fear? I don't know any fear. And he going up says, I hope my loved ones will be all right. And I'm going to make sure everything's going to be all right. Why? Because I'm going to fight. Other words, if I stay home, I would be scared. but because I'm in the fight, I'm not fearful. See, this is a 19-year-old kid. So what I'm saying is this challenged me because it challenged me to know in as far as as Christians. Are we willing to fight for what we believe in? Are we willing to fight for the gospel? Are we willing to take up our arms and fight? I'm going to continue this a little bit as we go forward because there's so many things I want to say to you. But for now, I don't want a Ukrainian more willing to fight for their country's freedom than we are for the freedom of our religious expression in the United States. This is Bishop Garland Hunt. This is the Power of Hope Devotional. I'll talk to you next time.